Well, viewers, does it get any better than this? The Simpson Desert, but unfortunately our final day here. I'm Simon Christie and welcome to Your 4x4. Now today we're heading from our campsite here, just outside of one of the big salt lakes, across to Big Red. It's going to be an awesome day of four-wheel driving, and finally, later on this afternoon, we'll hit Birdsville and get a shower. Let's get into the episode. Your 4x4 is proudly presented by Berrima Diesel, ARB 4x4 accessories, Piranha off-road products, Kmart rear end protection, wholesale automatic transmissions, and Lightforce performance lighting.
Good morning everybody, here we are in the desert. The sky is blue, we've had a magnificent sunset, it's looking absolutely superb. Yesterday was a terrific day, we had some more dunes, we did the salt lakes, and the salt lakes are nothing less than spectacular. They're pristine white, and from the red sand and the greenery, the contrast is just amazing. We did about 100 k's yesterday, which is pretty much on target, which seems to be all we can seem to get done in a day these days because the terrain is reasonably rough. Now today we're going to be heading over towards obviously Big Red and back into Birdsville, so this is actually our last day in the desert as such, which is actually very sad because it's been absolutely magnificent. The desert conditions are something you've just got to experience. We had a little fire last night, it was lovely, sat round, we had beautiful vista of stars, the moon was up this morning, people went out taking shots up on the dunes, just absolutely sensational. Coffee, breakfast, good company, what more could you want?
Welcome to my desert soup kitchen. I've got some pumpkin soup here cooking away early this morning, and I'm sure it's going to draw the crowds later on as the smell and aroma starts to travel across the savanna plains here. We need a bit of energy to keep us going today because I think we've got quite a few more dunes to go. Yesterday was probably, I think, the best day that we've had, not that we've been in here for too many days. It really had quite a lot of good challenging sand dunes, and when you got to the top of those, you just had those beautiful sort of rippled tops that didn't have a footprint in them. Really, really pretty. And of course, towards the afternoon, we got onto those lovely salt lakes. So it's really been an amazing day. Yesterday just changing from probably June to June, so I can imagine today probably only going to get better. Well, we don't go back to too much of a metropolis back at Berrima, but it's certainly going to miss those open skies. Just the camping. We're getting into a good routine now. We've been doing it for quite a few days because we left 2 or 3 days before the trip began to do a bit of camping, so we're really getting into the swing of it now. Anyway, we've still got quite a bit to go. We've got next week. Looking forward to some changing scenery again.
Well, here we are, a beautiful, crisp and slightly chilly morning, a cup of tea. Yesterday was an amazing day. Today we're heading into Birdsville and the final dune of Big Red. Always a fun one, I suppose a little bit more iconic. What people like to think about the Simpson Desert is you either start with it or you finish with it. In our case, we'll be finishing with it. Yesterday was amazing, again, as always, just, you know, you've got lots of dunes, the closest of the dunes to start off in the day, towards the sparseness of the dunes towards the end of the day, where we finished off on the salt plains and driving around the bottom of the salt lakes and all that sort of stuff, and they're just so white. Yes, enjoy the cup of tea, get ready, pack up, and move on.
Next up, it's the Your 4x4 email competition.
Thanks, Simon. Our entry this week comes from Andrew Eady, and Andrew's written, "I love my 4x4 because it's my holiday on 4 wheels. I can jump in and know I can go anywhere. I love it."
Thanks for sending in that email. You've won yourself a Lightforce tack torch and stubby holder, and you're also in the running for the ARB twin motor portable compressor. For full details, visit the Your4x4 website.
Holden's toughest 4x4 ever has arrived. Introducing the all-new Holden Colorado 7. It comes with 7 seats as standard and it's loaded with serious off-road grunt. You'll get 3-ton towing and the awesome 470 Newton-metre Duramax diesel engine, plus an impressive wading depth and hill descent control, all for the hardcore adventurer. The all-new Holden Colorado 7 is here. Take it off-road at your Holden dealer today.
Does your diesel smoke, lack power, or have poor fuel economy? Then you need the Berrima Diesel treatment. Fine-tuning diesels since 1956, the Berrima Diesel technicians are Australia's leading diesel wizards. From a turbo installation to a high-tech dyno tune, when you think diesel, think Berrima Diesel. Visit thedieselexperts.com and make an appointment for more power, more torque, and better fuel economy.
The next generation of shock absorbers is here. Leading the way in 4x4 suspension development, Old Man Emu introduces the most advanced and finely tuned shock absorber on the market. Nitro Charger Sport incorporates a new valving system that instantly adapts to all terrain for an outstanding smooth ride and phenomenal control. Backed by a 3-year, 60,000 kilometre warranty, you can trust Nitro Charger Sport, built in Australia for Australian conditions.
G'day, I'm Jason from Lightforce.
And I'm Stuart from Wholesale Automatics.
Today we're going to talk about the trip so far. We left this morning a beautiful campsite that we had a rip-roaring fire last night and sort of went to bed about 10 o'clock with the stars just absolutely shining in the sky. So far we've been extremely lucky, not a cloud on the sky the last 3 nights, so the Simpson Desert has really turned it on for us.
Yeah, the weather's been sensational. It's blue skies every day, clear, dark, starry nights, and yeah, the fire was pretty sensational. What we've noticed today on the way out over towards Big Red and Birdsville is certainly the dunes have got a lot wider apart. There's a huge savanna area in between, so the pace does pick up a bit because there's quite a distance between the dunes now, so you're sort of increasing the average speed.
Certainly it made it a lot easier for us. The dunes are a lot further apart, up to 1 kilometre apart, so you're able to pick up some speed and get through them, being safe at all times, of course. One of the highlights for all of us today was actually seeing some camels. We've been tracking them for quite a few days and noticed a lot of tracks in the sand as we've been driving along. And finally today we saw one right up on the top of a dune. So we all sort of got out of our cars and had a bit of a look. Right in front of us, the thing walked slowly down the dune, across the savannah, and right basically was no more than 10 feet from us. We were just blown out how this camel just sat there, chewed like we were not even there. There was about 10 of us all sort of standing around taking photos. And young Samuel, Matt's son, was absolutely blown away. So he's got a great show and tell next time he goes to school. So it was a really fantastic time watching these camels. It was nice to see them in their own environment.
Yeah, they didn't seem to be bothered by us. They were quite happy to walk along towards us, had a bit of a look if someone new came along.
They were looking at us as much as we were looking at them. And one of the real highlights for me today has been able to see a wedge-tail eagle in full flight. It was beautiful watching it soar up in the sky on the thermals, and a couple of brown eagles come to attack it, but it just moved out of their way, and it was just so much bigger than they were. So it was beautiful to watch it flying around.
So Alan, this is only my third time into the Simpson Desert, but I believe you were here 30 years ago, I think you were saying earlier?
Yep, absolutely, and it was quite an adventure in those days. We're looking at what looks like now a hyperspatial bypass out there. When we came through, it was basically a series of wheel ruts running through the scrub, and the main navigation was looking for those little concrete things with the little metal plaques on top, which had numbers on them that told you basically where you were.
So I can't even imagine doing that. Most of my friends sort of consider me to be navigationally challenged, I think is the word. Since things like the HEMA Navigator came along, I've got a lot of confidence travelling out here with good maps and so forth. But the thought of basically just following those surveyor points, which aren't that easy to find, would have been a pretty exciting thing to do back then.
It was a lot of fun. I'll tell you, the other things that I've noticed from doing this trip is, when we did it the first time, the tyres we had were things like bar treads and road track majors. We've got these amazing modern day tyres from both Mickey Thompson and Cooper, with silicon rubber, and they just don't get any flats.
It is incredible. I mean, that road that we drove out from Mount Dare heading out to Dalhousie, I mean, some of the rocks on that road were just beyond belief. I mean, it was just incredible that we were able to drive along there and only suffer one fatality, basically.
It was pretty impressive.
It was very impressive, absolutely.
But the other big thing I noticed travelling this time is, apart from just the navigation and the tyres and things, is just simply having these GPSs on board. The confidence it gives you to travel is remarkable. You know exactly where you are at any time. And with things like satellite phones and HF radios, we're pretty damn safe.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, with a well-prepared vehicle, the right equipment and, you know, some preparation in terms of food, clothing, all these sorts of things, you really can get out here and have a fantastic time, can't you? It's just a wonderful part of the world to be.
Yep. Absolutely, couldn't agree more.
Guys, here we are, the Simpson Desert. And unfortunately for us, we're at the wrong end of it. We've done our trip and we've finally finished coming out of the other side of the Simpson Desert and heading into private property area now.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? Actually, it's a certified beef station we're heading into next. We might be able to get some beef.
Which we'll have hopefully tonight at the Birdsville Hotel. I suppose the dunes this morning have been a lot more sparse in between. We started off yesterday with a lot closer dunes and, you know, from dune to dune to dune, and now we've got the big plains in between and the grasslands, which we've changed. But we've had a great morning, just had lunch and I suppose, you know, at the edge of the Simpson Desert, and we've finished this part of the trip, but moving on to the next part of the trip and move our way into Birdsville from here onwards. It'd be nice to be able to sort of sit and not be having to go from place to place to place each day and sort of camp and sort of sit. That's the beauty about being out here in the Simpson Desert. You can do it in 3 days, which is what we've done it in, or you can spend a week or even 2 weeks or longer out here. There's just so much to see and do.
It is.
It's an amazing and very unique place, and not that far when you think about it.
Getting accessible.
From capital cities.
Yeah, more accessible. I mean, the signage now, you know, I think really for the moderately well-prepared person now, it really is a trip that pretty much anybody can do.
Yeah.
But it does show, we've probably seen some breakages and some things go wrong here and there. You've got to be prepared. Things do change every minute. You might be okay 1 minute and the next minute there could be something broken.
And the other thing about the Simpson Desert, it's a national park.
Yeah.
So you've really got to take care of it. You've got to look after it. You've got to get your desert park pass. That money goes towards maintaining the park, that it's open for all of us to use for years to come. As we said, it's only 50 years this year that the desert was first crossed by a motor car. The amount of traffic we've seen on this trip alone shows how many people are wanting to get out and enjoy it. So it's up to all of us to be responsible to look after the place.
Next up, it's the Ask an Expert segment.
Thanks, Simon. Our question this week comes from Paul in Hawthorne East, and Paul wants to know, what is shock absorber fade? Well, this certainly was an issue when crossing the Simpson Desert, so let's find out what Alan from Pirana thinks about it.
G'day guys, this is Alan Johnson here from Pirana. We've just done some pretty rough terrain out here. There's a lot of corrugations and it is very remote. Shock absorber fade isn't your shock absorber breaking or falling to pieces or failing. What it is it's just not doing the job that a shock absorber is designed to do. Now inside the shock absorber is hydraulic oil. Now when that oil gets hot, as it does from going up and down and being squished and from all the temperature going through it, the oil gets thinner and thinner and thinner until eventually the oil starts to break down and then eventually it starts to boil. And what happens is those valves are no longer running through liquid, they're running through cavitated oil, which means there's nothing to resist it. So the shock absorber goes off, which means effectively the only thing stopping your car from bouncing is the springs. And what we're seeing, as you probably see in some of the tracks, is a car bouncing massive distances up and down over the corrugations, uncontrolled, because the shock absorbers have faded out. Now we're stopping here for lunch and to do some minor repairs, and those shock absorbers will cool down again. They will then come back to life again and start working, which is great, but they will fade again. If you're experiencing really bad shock absorber fade and your car is bouncing all over the place, what can you do about it when you're out here? You can run your tyre pressures a little bit lower. You could actually stop, let the oil reconstitute itself back to its proper viscosity, let it cool down in other words. Possibly move some of the weight that might be behind the axle, which is right over the back suspension. Try and move some of that weight forward if you can. And that's about all you can really do. But take breaks, travel at a sensible speed, but if you just keep pushing with it bouncing and bouncing, bouncing, you're actually likely to break something, and that's not a good thing. The guys who are running standard suspension are not having quite such a nice time, would be the best way to put it.
For asking that question, you've won yourself a Pirana diff breather. You're also in the running for the wholesale heavy-duty valve body converter lockup and temperature gauge kit, the Light Force 50-watt 170mm striker driving lamp kit, and the RFI antenna pack. For full details, visit the YOUR4X4 website.
"30-second kitchen, a kitchen in 30 seconds. Fridge slide first. Fridge slide's got 130 kilo tracks in it, so it's nice and tough. Remove the R-clip, don't lose it. Drop the pin, leg locker, kitchen out. Lock kitchen down here, retrieve the R-clip, lock on here, R-clip in. Leg here, pull them together, stove, billy. How good's that, guys? Couldn't ask for quicker.
Sometimes the front runners lead from behind, and when it comes to protecting your rear, Kmart are world leaders in rear end protection and tow bar combinations. The just released Prado 150 is no exception, with a bar that is designed to follow the car's lines and work with your sensors and factory camera. For the best in rear end protection, trust Kmart. It's a statement, not just an accessory, but the toughest of 4x4 trips. For more info, go to kmart.com.au.
Warning, beware of imitation lights. Only Light Force Performance Lighting guarantees Australian made, no leaking or melting, quality output and 3-year warranty. Unlike their imitators, Light Force lights feature peerless construction, leak-proof seals, impact-proof lenses and filters, vibration and fracture resistant mounts and housing, and stainless steel fittings, outshining and outlasting their impersonators in every way. Often imitated, never replicated. Visit lightforce.com for the full range of authentic Light Force lights.
Got a tough 4x4 tourer and enjoy hitting the tracks? Odds are you'll need some serious underguard protection and a heavy-duty long-range tank. Brown Davis Automotive offer aluminised steel underguard protection plates and long-range tanks for most popular makes and models. They're designed and developed right here in Australia and have been tested to the extreme right across this great country. Remember Brown Davis Automotive. It's a trusted and family-owned Aussie business and proud manufacturers of high-end tanks, underguards and more.
What a great shot to start this week. The GU Patrol was on a touring trip around southern Western Australia and stopped for this photo at Cape Legrand National Park. Check out this fun little beast. The Jimny is running a small lift, 31-inch tyres plus a few other extras. Being light and small, it goes on some great adventures. This shot was taken at Double Island Point, heading to the family campsite. With the van on the back, it was slow going over the rocks, but the V8 Cruiser had no troubles at all. Now you don't see this every day. The Hyundai Terracan is the family's outback tourer and is pictured on the Oodnadatta track on a recent getaway. Our last entry for the week is this Land Rover Defender, having a fun day out on some of the tracks around Wyangala Dam.
If you've just seen your photo and you're the first person to email Danny, you've won yourself the Projector 6 metre 750 amp booster cables. You're also in the running for a Birma Diesel DP chip, the best way to boost diesel power, and the Travel Buddy oven, the easy option for hot food when you're in the bush. Well viewers, we've spent 3 days crossing the Simpson Desert and what an awesome trek it's been. There's been plenty of fantastic four-wheel driving, plenty of fantastic sand dunes. But when you're talking about sand dunes, this is the mother of all dunes out here in the Simpson. This is Big Red and this is what we're here to conquer. Let's give it a crack.
Big Red awaits us.
All right, locked and loaded. We've lowered the front tyre pressure down to around 17. The backs we've left at 20 because we're carrying so much load. We're getting ready to give it a crack, so here we go. I'm going to lock it into Tiptronic, keep it in nice low gear. How was that? And check this out, what a reward. A massive lake over this side. Absolutely awesome. There's Big Red conquered by YOUR4X4, four-wheel drive TV and four-wheel drive pro tips. And an awesome lake here at the end of the Simpson Desert trek. This has been absolutely magic. Now that was great for me, but I think we've got to get another 8 cars up here, so let's head back around and see how they go. David Brickhill from Kmart, you're next up, you ready to go? All right, let's give it a crack. Okay, clear to go, David. All right, David's lined up for his second run. Let's see how he goes this time. All right, David said he's going to give it a third crack. Let's give it a go. That's the nature of sand. You never know what's going to happen. Got a nice straight run here. It's a medium incline, but the issue is down the bottom there's a couple of spots where he's actually getting airborne, so it's slowing down his progress as he runs up towards the hill. Big Red though, just awesome to be here and having a crack. Go Jason, hold it flat. And another happy four-wheel driver right here on the top of Big Red. Next up is the team from Birma Diesel. Let's see if they've got the diesel power to conquer Big Red. Looking good this time. Plenty of travel. Makes it nice and easy. A couple of quick gear shifts on the way, but he backed up far enough, and it's all about momentum on these sand dunes. Awesome drive. Alan Johnson from Piranha, a highly experienced forward driver, does it with ease. Up here enjoying this sensational view atop Big Red at the end of the Simpson Desert. Magic. All right, well that's 3 of our cars up here now. We've still got quite a few to go, still having a lot of fun here at Big Red. Absolutely awesome. And again, as you heard the guys at Light Force, that view over there is sensational. Next up, we've got Matt Frost in the Hilux. Let's see how he goes. Nice steady run up. It's feeding it some RPMs now. Travelling nice and smoothly, getting close to the top. It's looking good. Absolutely easy. Let's see how Stew Dog from Wholesale Automatics goes.
I'd mention I was airborne for at least 3 metres of that.
Yeah, that was a pretty good jump. Absolutely sensational. All of our rigs up the top here on Big Red. I think we'll kick back, have a bit of a snack to eat and a bit of a rest, taking these beautiful views. Absolutely awesome. Great to be out here in the Australian outback, touring with your 4x4. I hope you're enjoying this episode. Well viewers, here we are on top of Big Red and it's been a fantastic afternoon of 4-wheel driving. We've got amazing scenery out here on both sides and what a fitting end to our crossing of the Simpson Desert. Better still, we're heading tonight into Birdsville for a hot meal and a hot shower. Can't wait for that. But we'll see you next week on your 4x4 when we head for Unaminka. I'm Simon Christie, thank you for tuning in. See you next week.